dressed all in black?
Yeah, definitely.
And you thought he was weird?
Yeah, I definitely, yeah.
What was weird about him?
Just the way he walked.
Did look over at him and he was kind of like that was his face.
Kind of just like, we should just go like for fun, just to see. We don't really care like about Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk's wife and maybe a kid or both of his kids were actually at the event today.
He changes clothing on the roof.
It sounds like the shooter was a tranny.
Though he did have freckles on his face.
Charlie Kirk was betrayed by people who are close to him.
Your wife is not your employee.
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redaction
Make some
whatsoever.
noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
There was a guy like laying down with like a sniper.
Oh, there's somebody on the roof for that?
And I went up to the top and ironically was very close to where the shooter was.
Like, how did this guy know that he was going to be able to just get on the rooftop?
Right. And it's hilarious. I think this is the most corrupt presidency in U.S. history.
Yeah, President Trump's name was actually in the Epstein files going back to February.
And in that footage is your driveway, and you parked there at 11:30 a.m.
He's walking in front of my aunt's house there right now, and my cousin's house is the driveway that is taking that photo, and my CRV, the gray CRV in the distance there that is my car. I parked there probably 10 minutes before he walked by.
We should impanel a grand jury, and every person involved in the Epstein child sex trafficking should go to federal prison for the rest of their life.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Oh my God.
That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life. All day.
The FBI says the Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories are legit.
It's a very dark story that involves these donors, sponsors, influencers, a takeover of sorts that I think was happening right under Charlie's nose.
See anything that looks like a gun in his pants. We don't see it. Where is the gun, according to the FBI?
Cash said that they found what we presume was his screwdriver on the top of the building.
Girls, very goth, very black.
We don't see anything there.
I received a call from a friend of mine who happens to be
a
retired detective.
Haven't seen that before.
All these people fleeing for their lives. And she says, go F yourselves.
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot.
This guy's not trans, but he's into furry culture and he's dating a trans person.
Tyler Robinson is or was suicidal. That is not true. And that's a very scary thing.
Left side of his neck, down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
Deb, we're not doing it. I'm sorry.
Get off me! Get off me!
The evildoers
Running high right now.
responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done.
Hey guys, how's it going? Let's see. We have a few people in here, not too many. I think that I am broadcasting to YouTube as well as X. Apparently, they don't want any of this story out. My TikTok was banned today. I had about 40,000 or 38,000 followers, and a lot of them came about 5,000 a week, or a couple weeks since this whole Charlie Kirk thing. And, you know, I really do suspect that our government does not want us to collaborate. They don't want both sides coming together, agreeing on anything, because I see plenty of far left people on TikTok that have millions of followers that have not had their accounts banned. So if you're not being divisive, they do not want you to have a voice. That's what it seems like. It seems like they are banking on us wanting to go after each other. And if that's not happening, it's going to open up our eyes to what they're doing. And it's not just this Charlie Kirk thing, although this is very, very explosive. I think that there's a lot of things in this case that are inherently absolutely ridiculous. The stuff that they put out, the narrative that they put out. We can talk about the last couple of videos that I put out. Because I don't know which one really did it. If there was a straw that broke the camel's back, whether it was the JFK associations, but I do see a lot of people talking about this stuff, and I'm not even pointing fingers. So it's shocking that my account would have been banned. But I just had a recent video get 500,000 views, and that might be why. That video was about the limp. So someone told me that Tyler Robinson has a gimp leg. And so that's how people recognized him. And that's what I was told. I have not had anyone reach out to correct me since I mean, it's so one video, and I did post this today, so this could be a trouble one. I don't know why, but I had this recollection of him walking by. Someone dressed all in black is walking by, and I remember there was like another video, and I had to like really hunt for it today because I remember there was more than one. It wasn't just that one where, you know, he's kind of crossing the street and going by. There was another one, and I found it, and it's pretty sketchy. And you can hear, and if you listen closely, listen to the person. This came from TMZ, so I guess this is how they put the video out, because I just screen recorded it from TMZ. And the person that's recording it or whatever, you can hear them say, "What the fuck?" at a certain point, and you're gonna see. So this is the alleged shooter dressed all in black walking by the second driveway. Now these houses are pretty much side by side, and then, you know, there's a parking lot. You keep walking down the street, you go to the Army ROTC, and there's kind of a fence that stops you, but then there's a tunnel that goes under the street that goes into the campus. So this is the other video, the one that's not widely distributed, and I think you're going to see why. And listen closely as he gets near the tree. Did you guys hear that? The what the fuck? I mean, I have the same sentiment. Like, what the fuck? It's like he walked by thinking he was out of frame and then walked towards the house. Because I think my assumption at this point in time is that whatever this was, these videos of this person walking, it was a decoy. I don't think this is the shooter. I don't know if it's even Tyler Robinson, but I mean that video really looks like it's a decoy to me, because he just stops and then looks around and then walks towards the house. So what would the purpose of that be? I mean, it could be just a random person walking by, but it's someone that's comfortable enough to cut across someone's lawn to go into their, because I think you can cut through and get to the parking lot from there. So it's someone that's super familiar with the area. But there was another guy that has been going out and filming things, and I don't think I have it, but that is a busy pedestrian street. It's pretty much a dead end. I mean, I think maybe it continues, but it's not like a throughway street for vehicles, but there's a lot of foot traffic. And another local to that area was filming that house, and there's people walking up and down the street everywhere. Another person with a red shirt, so I guess that's the shooter. Like, what I mean by this is that they pick and chose which video to release because that's a heavily traveled pedestrian street. And I think it's odd that that kid is walking so close to that person's property, because on a street like that, you walk down the middle of the street, right? Unless a car comes, then you go to the side. And true to the point is this guy that was recording locally also had everyone walking down the middle of the street. People don't walk right next to people's properties like that typically, right? Because like a dog's gonna jump out. Like it's just not a thing you do. I grew up in a small street like that. Like people walk down the middle of the street. Like you don't walk along the side unless you want to be caught in the camera. So I find that really interesting. Now, if I show you, I'm going to remove that. I kind of walked through this in my last video on YouTube as well, but as a refresher, there was some news. Let's see if I have a pen or something here. I don't. I'll use my Kaizen. But there was some news where they said that the bullet hit his C2 vertebrae, which is the back base of the skull, which doesn't make sense because we saw him hit like around here. And to hit the base of the skull, it hit that C2 vertebrae. They call it the axis vertebrae. There's no way that it could be coming from above. Like even if it's just a very slight angle, because where we saw was kind of like right around here. But now the story has changed. Now it hit the spine at the base of the shoulders, which kind of like a straight through shot. But like I've been saying all along, it did not come from a 30-06. A 30-06 is meant to take down elk and moose, and it's meant to cut through bone like butter. And that was the weapon that they found in a towel in the woods that allegedly matched to Tyler Robinson. And then there was a screwdriver on the roof because he put it together with the screwdriver, even though you need a lot more than a screwdriver to put that goddamn thing together. That's what they said. But the screwdriver disappeared. Nobody talks about it anymore probably because it's not true, or it was placed there after the fact. I mean, I think a lot of this is after the fact. We don't know who's covering up, I guess, is the point. Like, I don't know if it's the feds. The feds didn't get there till 5 o'clock the next day, right? Like, that's when Kash Patel said he got there September 11th at 5 p.m. and he walked the scene. But he walked the scene according to those videos that we just looked at, which look staged. So people were leading him in that direction to say, like, this is the route that they took. This is where we found the rifle that doesn't make any sense that it shot him. So 30-06, and I don't know if anyone knows or if anyone can comment, but there was what they're saying now is that it hit like the base of his neck from here, but all they found was a fragment, a small fragment, and it's not from a 30-06, which I already knew that. But like, how can they only find a fragment? Like, what did it fragment off of, right? Unless I'm like not thinking about this correctly, but I would expect that everything has to be inside of him, unless it like hit maybe body armor or it hit something else and bounced into his neck. But I don't think that's what happened. We would have seen it or heard it. We would have heard a couple of noises. So I don't know. Is that possible? Can they only find a fragment in his neck if the bullet went into his neck? Like, how is that possible? I could understand them finding fragments like spread around a little bit and, you know, the big part of the bullet somewhere, but how can you not find the bullet? It didn't exit. It did not exit. And it does seem like they were going to go along with this. Say it was a 30-06, say it was this kid, Tyler Robinson, and, you know, charge him. I mean, they still are at this point. They haven't dropped any charges. But if the bullet, I mean, they already messed up this case so bad because they already are saying that they have DNA on this weapon and it ties to Tyler Robinson. And I mean, Tyler Robinson to me doesn't look like any of those photographs anyway. I don't know. I don't know. So there's another interview that I hadn't seen before. So this is a video. I think it was done the next day. And this guy is like former FBI. It's so weird that like none of the students really were interviewed and the students were being shut up. Like, as you see in the intro, like someone was taking the microphone away from him. Like, you can't talk, you can't say anything. And they didn't want him to talk. But then they have all these randos come on and interview. I have heard, I don't know what, like, I have been listening to Candace Owens to some degree. Nick Fuentes, I don't know. I mean, if you're saying like what, I know what their direction is, and I honestly don't think that it is a foreign adversary that did it at all. I think if that were the case, I mean, that would be covered up too, because something like that could start a war. So that would be covered up if it was a foreign adversary, but they were already in cover up mode from the jump. And I just don't believe that, like TPUSA, there's just so many things, and I'll list them out as to why I think in a certain direction. I just find it odd that they aren't blaming Robinson. I mean, I find it really odd that so much of the media is just saying, oh, it's definitely Robinson. Like, it's either he's going to live or die. Like, that's shocking to me based on how screwed up this case is, how faulty the evidence is, how much it relies on hearsay. Like, that is shocking to me. You know, Megyn Kelly talking about it with such disdain, like he dated a furry, so obviously he's guilty. It's like, what is wrong with these people? Like, you're the media. You're supposed to be asking questions. Fuentes wondered out loud if Erica Kirk had something to do with it. I mean, I think a lot of us are thinking that. I don't mean that I don't know. No one's making any effort to find out the truth at all. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But if I show you this interview, so this interview, I think it was the next day. This guy heard.
Seeing it within proximity, it seemed like it was a close shot. The venue is such that there's a 4-story building, which is the administrative building to the south. The other buildings around the side are not quite so high, but you could be on the second level and watch Charlie. The police had moved the people. There were some people that were above Charlie, so that awning that you're seeing there, there's a place to be there, but the police moved people out to the sides. And so you couldn't be right above where you were at. But if I had to guess, and again, it's still raw, but if I had to guess and give a police statement right here, right now, today, see where that water is? It looked to me like it was in close proximity, straight ahead, right in that area.
Yeah, we're looking at
if I had to guess. Again.
So he's former FBI, and he thinks that it came from the left in a kind of close vicinity. And based on the fact that it did not come out the back, it didn't exit, it has to be a smaller caliber weapon, a less powerful weapon. But it's interesting that nobody wants to explore that. The cameras were all filming in 4K. They got rid of those cameras right away. So I think the goal is to blame this kid, Tyler Robinson. But the case is so sloppy that I don't think he'll be convicted. And yeah, I don't know. So I don't get why they're saying he had a funky leg when that seems that have been from the jump off the roof. So the only time that we see him hobbling is on his way there, because they are saying that he's hobbling because he has the rifle down his pant leg, but he's wearing skinny jeans and there's nothing down his pant leg. I'm trying to see if I have those photos somewhere. I know I did at one point, but there's definitely nothing in his pant leg. He's wearing skinny jeans. There's lots of photographs of him. Oh, here's one. So they're saying that, like, look at those pants. You can see his cell phone clearly in his right pocket. It's a big screen cell phone, probably something like this. There's no rifle. So that's why they were saying that he was limping. So that means if this kid, Tyler Robinson, does have a limp normally, then their whole like targeting of him based on the limp, if this even is him or if it was someone else impersonating his limp, I don't know. Like, I think they screwed up based on that picture that they had where he was at Dairy Queen. I'm trying to see where that is. I think that's what did it for him. I think the Dairy Queen photograph is what made them target him. I think he probably was involved. At this point, I'm like leaning towards that he was involved. And that is why they're going after him. They know that he wasn't the shooter, but they know that he was involved enough, and I don't know, they don't have like any will to kind of find out who else was involved. But to me, that he does not have a weapon. I don't think that looks like him. And yeah, and this is only at the entrance of the school. This is not in the school. This is basically like he walks by those two houses where he's limping. And then this is the parking lot. I'm trying to see if I have a photograph of the area. Just to show how close it is, because it really is just a little tiny neighborhood that is surrounded by the school and the parking lots. Here we go. So if you look, see how the ROTC is right there? So this street that is along the bottom, that's Campus Drive. That's basically like where you see after he jumps off the roof, he gets to that road. The parking lot that's in the bottom left corner, you know, this patch of grass, and there's those two houses on the left. Those are the two houses that he got caught on the camera walking by. And so like the second house, that's what we just looked at, where he passes the tree and then he seems to cut across their lawn. So it seems like maybe he's cutting across the lawn to then walk through this parking lot. But I just find it odd that someone would be that comfortable to do that. It does look well traveled. I looked at Street View, and it does look like, I mean, at least cars drive up there and park behind the house or something. But it does look like the grass is worn, so there are people that walk that way. But all they have is him on those two houses, ring cams, and then the pictures that we just looked at, that's him walking down into the tunnel from the parking lot. So that's it. They don't have, well, they didn't provide it to us, any other photographs of him anywhere else on campus except here and walking by those houses. So I can't tell that that's Tyler Robinson. But I also can't tell that this is also the guy that ends up on the roof that's jumping off, because that guy looks like he's in all black. I mean, it might be this guy. I just think there's decoys. I think this was a targeted, organized attack. I mean, I think they do have a preliminary hearing scheduled, I think for 60 days. So a preliminary hearing, I'm trying to, like, usually you don't have it. Usually it's just a grand jury indictment. Like in the Koberger case, they were going to have a preliminary hearing, and then at the last minute, they did the grand jury indictment, so that throws out the preliminary hearing. So at this point, I don't know. Utah law might be different, but Utah and Idaho, I feel like might be somewhat similar. At this point, we do have a preliminary hearing scheduled, and that would mean witnesses, basic facts. They just have to find probable cause to move forward with the charges. What we know is that, well, we don't even know because they haven't told us. But it doesn't appear that Tyler Robinson was living with the furry guy at all. It seems that he was living at home. And let's see if I can, there's an interview with his neighbor. And this is the neighbor from his house.
About your relationship with Tyler. How well did you know him?
Tyler went to the school I was a head custodian at. I was at that school for 18 years. I know all three of his brothers also.
And one thing I want to ask you, is this something, I'm so sorry to cut you off, is this something consistent with who you know him to be?
No, no, kid was smart, quiet. He never caused any problems.
Are you shocked by this?
It was a shock. Oh yes, I am shocked. Very shocked.
What can you tell him about us? I mean, excuse me, what can you tell us about Tyler Robinson? You said you've known him for quite some time, as well as his siblings. Any kind of characteristics or anything that you could tell us and share about him?
You know what I know about Tyler is he was always very quiet. He was very smart. He had just a real mellow personality, never caused any problems. He, like I said, he was smart and he kept to himself, and I don't know who his friends were as of now.
Is there any chatter in your neighborhood right now? I know you said you're shocked. Are neighbors having any conversation about Tyler?
Oh, yes, I'm sure. I haven't been out too much this morning. I've talked to a few people, but those people haven't lived here long enough. I've lived in the neighborhood for 16 years, just as long as they have, and I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood's shocked because most of these people have been here forever and know him as that kind of kid I did.
And has there been any activity at the family home this morning? We know there is a heavy police presence right now at Utah Valley University, but in your neighborhood, is it business as usual, pretty quiet, or is there an increased presence of law enforcement?
There's a little bit of law enforcement, a lot of news. The neighbors are out walking just to see. Their house is quiet, but their house is always really kind of busy on the weekends and early in the morning when they leave for school and work.
And Kristen, before we let you go, talk to us about, have you been following the Charlie Kirk shooting, the murder here at Utah Valley University, as the rest of not only the state but the nation, and then to find out this morning that in fact your neighbor Tyler Robinson was arrested in connection with this shooting? What are your thoughts as we go back from Wednesday to where we're at now?
I did watch the press on the shooting pretty much all that day. My grandson happened to be at that rally. And then this morning, my son texted me and said, hey, this is Tyler Robinson that lives 3 doors down. And I'm like, no, it can't be. And it was. And it's shocking. That's not who's in our neighborhood. And I feel for his mom. I love Amber. She's a great mom, and he has a great dad.
And Kristen, did you see the images that police had released yesterday, that the FBI had released, the photos of the suspect? What were your impressions when you saw that and to where we're at this morning?
Yeah, did you recognize him? Did you say, hey, that's Tyler?
Not in those pictures. I think he had covered his face well enough. But, I mean, I have their family photo on my phone, their new one, and I would have not noticed that that was him.
And Miss Kristen, I want to ask you this. You mentioned his mom, Amber, saying she's a great mom. You know, we know that Tyler right now is booked in the Utah County Jail. What message would you send to Tyler if you could say anything to him right now?
What social media were you on and what friends were you hanging around? Because I feel you can't come up with that on your own. I feel like there's some hate in this world, and it shouldn't be that way. And you need to reconcile.
And when you said your grandson, and make sure I'm saying this correctly, was at that rally at UVU, what goes through your mind when you think my grandson is there and my neighbor, you know, is a part of this, unfortunately, in a violent way?
Oh, I have mixed feelings. Mine is I rather it been, and this sounds sad, just him than a mass shooting.
Ms. Kristen, thank you so much. We appreciate you for speaking with us this morning.
So it's interesting. So his car is behind her in the driveway. There's a lot of factors why I think that the source that told me that he actually did not live with the furry it sounds legit, because in the probable cause it says that they told him, where did you put the clothes that you changed out of, right? Because I think he changed his clothes like 15 times. And they're like, tell us so that we don't have to search your parents' house. They wouldn't be searching his parents' house, though. They would be searching the house that he lived at, right? And I also think they're lying about him changing schools. He got that 4-year full ride to Utah State University. I think it's Utah State University. And they say he only went there for 1 semester. I don't buy that at all. I think he still went there, and they're just like he still lived at the parents' house, but they're trying to divert, attention away from the parents and away from that university. They don't want people talking. And so they're lying about everything, which I think maybe, I don't know, this is a high profile case. Maybe that is something that they do, but it just seems pretty dishonest. I mean, carving the messages into the ammo, like that's the part that's, because they're not even coherent messages. They are memes. So it does seem like that was just a decoy gun. I don't know if that kid Tyler put it there. I think Tyler, he was involved with something, and I think, maybe we'll find out in the preliminary hearing what he was doing that day. But there's the photograph of him. I mean, Candace Owens released this, but no one has refuted it. It does look like him. There is a Dairy Queen in that town. And so what I think is that he was somewhat involved. They got this picture of him. And if you look at his hat, it's very similar to the hat of the suspect in the stairwell. But it's not the same hat. I think that they picked him out because, he was driving around. So Fox News recently got this story that he was driving around in and out of the campus several times that day before a cop asked him, like, what are you doing or whatever. And he told the cop, I need to get something out of the garage. The cop didn't think anything of it because people had fled and left things behind. But if he had really done this mass shooting and not a mass shooting, this assassination, would he be in and out? Like, he lived 3 or 4 hours away. Wouldn't he already be on his run? And that's why I think he's a decoy. I don't know if he purposely was a decoy or if he didn't know or what. That's what's going to come out. But if his car is driving around that area repeatedly, it's like they wanted to direct the attention to him. Like he probably was supposed to be arrested, just like those other decoys that they stopped and talked to. I think he was meant to be arrested, so that the real person could get away. Whether he knows or not, I don't know. But that's kind of what makes sense to me. And then like his weapon being found in the woods, I think that was not the one that was used. There's several witnesses that say they heard more than one gunshot. It could have been the echo. Like I've listened on a few different cameras, and it's definitely a potential for it to be an echo. But it also doesn't sound as much of a boom as a rifle. He was a decoy. So I would not say that it is that. I do think he was a decoy. I don't think it's a Lee Harvey Oswald situation, though. Because Lee Harvey Oswald, if you think about it, he was already on the radar. He was being watched. If he was like a Lee Harvey Oswald situation, he would have been arrested immediately. They would have already known that he was going to be around, and he was the one that was going to take the fall. But I think after the fact, or whatever, the agencies that are investigating, the FBI maybe weren't in on the whole thing. Whereas Lee Harvey Oswald, I think it might have just been local law enforcement that knew, and in this case as well. But they didn't know that he was the one that was supposed to go down for it, because they would have picked him up right away, especially he's driving around. There's another tip that they have him on video in a graveyard getting rid of clothes. I don't know what clothes. I don't know if it's the clothes that we see in this video. It looks like he'd be wearing the same. I don't know. These jeans are different. But that's the thing. Like, if you were going to really dress in disguise, so like, wouldn't you dress more different? Like, see how it's like a triangle on his hat? But like, it's only a triangle because his sunglasses are on it. So I'm like, did they see this and pick him up and just try to tie him into this? And he really has nothing to do with it? Maybe. But I think that we need to know why he was driving around, why he was down there. Was he alone? There's a lot of rumors that say that he was with a woman, not alone. So if he wasn't alone, why aren't they telling us that? Or do they all know who did it and they're just, throwing this kid on trial knowing that he's going to be found not guilty? I don't know. I just don't think that he would be the choice for a patsy. Lee Harvey Oswald, like if I show you, there was a lot of Lee Harvey Oswalds. Right before Kennedy went to Dallas, he went to Tampa, and this guy, Thomas Arthur Valet, was also on their watch list, just like Lee Harvey Oswald, lived alone, was an ex-Marine, had all this stuff, like was with anti-Castro people. So, and he was on he worked in a building, had a menial job in the building that JFK was going to drive by in Tampa. But his Secret Service changed the route at the last minute, so they didn't go by his building. But if shots rang out, this guy was going to be arrested. And I think that's what happened to Lee Harvey Oswald, where they knew he worked in that building and they were going to go in that building and get him. In this case, that's not the situation, because Tyler would have been picked up right away. So it seems that whatever went down after the fact, there was kind of a cover up. Even the way that Tyler was brought in seems super sketchy, because all those messages, so there was the Discord messages that seem fake. They all seem kind of fake. Was he strong armed to write these messages? But it also makes me feel like the people that turned him in know something more, because they were afraid to reveal their name. They didn't want their name out there, but then in the legal documents, it did come out. But why not? Why are you going to hide your name? So I don't know. There's a few alternatives as to what could be going on there. So I think this is a Discord message. Oh, so this is the Discord message from that group. And after they realized that Tyler had been taken into custody, they're praying for him and his family. These are not, you know, the type. I mean, they're talking about God a lot. Like, these are conservative people. And what I've learned in researching this is that the Church of Latter-day Saints really dislike contention. Like, contention, they see that as devil. Like, that's the devil taking over when you are being nasty to somebody else. So they don't like the way that Trump fights with his enemies. They don't like the way that Charlie would like put down minorities or whatever. They don't like that because they see it as hateful, not necessarily because it's against trans, which I don't know, that definitely is an option. That's definitely something that could be true, but I feel like that is something that they curved, that they created. Because just in general, the conversation that Tyler was having with his family was that Charlie Kirk was hateful, and with no other context. And they said we, so like it wasn't him saying it alone. It was, they were agreeing, whoever he was talking to, the family members. So it does seem like there is a point of contention, even like the way that the neighbors are kind of like, oh, well, too bad for him. Like, it doesn't seem like they're big, huge Charlie Kirk fans. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was like a split. They also feel like he's coming in to like pull them into, because it's Utah is almost all, it's like 90%, certain counties are like 90% Mormon. So they felt like he was trying to pull people out of the Mormon church, like their kids, and into his like hateful cult or whatever they call it. And this is a sentiment that is shared. The Reagan caucus, they almost didn't vote for Trump in the last election. Like, I think it was close, but they were thinking about voting someone else in. So like in Utah, it's split. It's right versus right. It's like the Reagan caucus versus the MAGAs, really. And so there is a split in ideology. So that could be what they're covering up. It could be something as simple as that, is that he was just a young kid that saw that as hateful and thought he could take care of it. And they don't want it to come back to the church or anybody else, which makes sense. I mean, I think no matter what, you don't really want a group targeted in response. And that's why they want the lone gunman scenario. That's why they always want the lone gunman scenario, because you don't want to start a war. You don't want to start, trouble between these groups that should be getting along, that could be getting along. But I just think that there's just so many things that don't add up. I understand why people would say the CIA Mossad thing, but I don't see how Tyler Robinson would be involved with that. I don't see, because he has to have some motivation to be involved, right? Because, I mean, they have different motivations, but maybe. Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, it absolutely could be, but who was that? Josh. Someone put, I think it was like so Candace Owens released text messages. And so those came out yesterday, I think. Or was it 2 days ago? And so in these text messages, this was 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was killed. So he's talking about just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Someone says, ugh. And then Charlie says, Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And then someone says, please don't invite Candace, blah, 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 blah. So there was some contention about the donations, about losing the donor. However, in my opinion, the strongest sketchiness is coming from Turning Point USA. Immediately when he was shot, they went and took down the cameras. They wanted people to stop talking. And so that would be it. It has something to do with the donation, the $2 million. So maybe the donor pulled out, but then they went to other people in TPUSA and said, you know what? I'll give you this $2 million donation if you take care of this for me. Or, something along those lines where they went and said, we're losing all this money. And, the other people in the organization were like, oh no, we don't want to lose that money just to be righteous, for whatever reason. And so because it does seem like a lot of people were kind of content with it. One of the people in that chat shared let me see if I have that. I think it's this one. So this chat happens 48 hours before, right? So 24 hours before, he allegedly told several people that they're going to kill me. I think they're going to kill me or something along those lines. We don't know who they is. Is it the donors? I mean, the donors are American, so they can't take foreign money. So right after that conversation, one of the people in the chat shares Donald Trump's tweet from 2013 that says, should be public execution for all to see. You will end this bullshit fast. He writes, based. This was the day before. The day before when Charlie Kirk was saying, I think they're going to kill me. After he talked about those donations. He could be talking about something else, but it's just a little wacky. It's kind of a coincidence. Oh, I absolutely think that people that are capable of what's happening in Gaza would do this. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think Turning Point USA would cover up that fact, right? To keep getting the donations and shut the hell up unless they knew something. And Turning Point USA is covering it up. Because those texts that I just showed, before Candace released these, they were all saying that she was a liar. She was making it all up. There was none of this is true. And then Turning Point had to come out yesterday and say, you know what? Actually, yes, I was on that text chain. So they knew, people that knew that were on this text chain were going out saying Candace Owens is a liar. I don't know. That to me just says I mean, maybe they just don't want the truth out, and maybe it is the truth, but I don't know. Yes, he was surrounded by handlers. I agree. I mean, I think his wife was kind of a handler. She was older than him. She's been around, she was in Trump's pageants when he was walking in dressing rooms. They go way back, and she was always doing charity work. And I also think that there's a chance that Tyler Robinson has something to do with, I don't know, some intelligence agency, because he's smart and he goes to a school that's known for a CIA footprint. So I think this might have been, the military training. that we've heard about. And I think people knew about it. It just seems too convenient that so many people just kind of made some weird statements. Yeah, the wife's behavior is so alarming to me. So much that I almost question if he even died because of how she acted. Like 2 days, I don't even think it was 48 hours. And she did that, like the podium that had the Turning Point USA emblem on it. And she's telling people to sign up. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just say something like you're sad. But it was so important to let the donors know that the show will go on and I'm taking over. Don't worry. Sign up for Turning Point. It's gross. And the merch on their website, it's absolutely disturbing. Like, let's see if I can find it. But they have shirts for sale. It's like they're capitalizing in the whole memorial, like all that stuff that happened afterwards I was like, what was this like? I don't even know what to think of it. It's just really, really bizarre. Yes, the photo shoot where she was with his corpse the next day. And she was all glammed up. Like, to me, I'm just like, I've been through some death recently, and I don't think that I filmed anything on my phone. Like, I would never, I don't know. And I film stuff a lot. Like, so I just was so in the moment that I wouldn't even think to do something like that. Or I still think it's fucking weird. Where was his wedding ring in the casket? Interesting. I don't know. I do not know. Oh, it must be a video file. So the martyr hoodie. Look at this shit. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule has just begun. What in the actual hell? Like, everything's like donation. I mean, I went to Turning Point just to like look at it, and somehow I got on the mailing list, and she's asking me for $5 the next day, like from Erica Kirk. And I'm just like, what? I'm just, I mean, I don't know. It's just such a grift. That's what makes me think it's not even, or they didn't care about him at all. Yeah, so she sees the open casket. It goes on Air Force 2. We don't even know if he's been buried. Like, there hasn't been an announcement as to where he's been buried. Nothing. I mean, I guess he's been, or cremated. I don't know. I don't know what Christians do. Christians get buried or cremated, or does it not matter? I mean, I just think it's like nobody cared about it. Like, that memorial like made me realize that none of them cared at all. So, I mean, I just don't know what the hell the deal is. I mean, I just think the Turning Point is just super suspect. The way that they were shutting people down from talking, the way that they took the cameras down, because the camera, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are they hiding this 4K footage? Why is all the footage that we've seen like the lowest quality footage from 1985? It's like, what the hell is going on? Because if their footage was good, like Tyler Robinson's guilty, then just show the goddamn footage, right? But it's like they have all these stills of him all blurry. You can't even see the face. It doesn't look like him. And they have 4K. They had 4K recordings. I don't know. But I don't know how a bullet ends up in your neck and there's only a fragment of it in there. Like, where's the rest of it? None of it makes any sense. It does seem like nobody's trying to get the answers either at all. I don't think they're really investigating it. I don't think they ever did. And like Kash Patel saying like, oh, we caught him in 3 days. It's like a record time. Yeah, you got the wrong person. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he must be involved to some degree. And I really do think it comes down to this. And I think that this is how they identified him. And I think that because his hat is similar, because if he was going to change, wouldn't you change to a bigger degree? Like his pants are only slightly different, and maybe not. Maybe it's just shadow. And the hat is like, it's a Hurley hat, but the sunglasses make it look like the triangle. I wonder if he has this curl in his ear. I always am looking at his ear. I can't tell. It does kind of look like his ear, though. But even if this is him, they haven't tied this to the guy on the roof. And if he does have a limp, we know it's not the guy on the roof jumping off with the bum leg. I mean, I'm leaning towards, I just don't think that Charlie would want to give this up. And the way that his body like reacted, it does seem like legit that he did get shot and it hit his spine. The way that his muscles tensed up and everything, and then he fell to the side. I think, I just don't know why nobody cares. Right? I mean, so what I thought about this is like, why not grow out your facial hair while you're doing this and then shave the next day? But yeah, fake beard too. I don't know. I think these are decoys though. Like this kid does not have a weapon unless it's a small gun in his backpack. But that means that he didn't do it from the roof. I don't think. I don't know. And I think that gun was a decoy. Like I think they were meant to find that. It was meant to throw them off track. And maybe they just ran across the street and went to the ROTC, and that they just went in front of these cameras on these houses up here just so that you know, to throw them off track. But it doesn't seem like anyone's trying to get to the truth. None of them look like roof guy, so I thought they knew it was him since he was limping away from the scene. Well, so they don't have, he wasn't limping after he jumped off the roof. We only have him jumping off the roof and disappearing, but the limp was prior. And so like they're saying that the limp is because the gun is in his skinny jeans. Maybe it is. You see the rifle in there? It's not in there. It's not in his pants. So, I mean, it does make more sense that if he does have a limp or he does have like a weird walk. I don't know. But there's a lot of people up and down that street too. So there's no way to say like, oh, this is definitely something suspicious. So what I think now is that we need to see more footage from the left side of from Charlie's left side, because we've been focusing on the building. I think most of the footage that we've seen, people are like, if he's facing the crowd, it came from the right. Those are the videos that I've seen. And there was an officer right above him on that like roof, on that like, it's like kind of like a walkway, an elevated walkway. There was a cop right there. How do you not see someone on the roof? And all those roof pictures, like the videos of the guy on the roof, came from people with military backgrounds. All of the people that did interviews with the media are all kind of related to, there's a lot of them that are related to Phil Lyman. So Phil Lyman is the one that his family owns these houses, and he was there. So like the two houses that, I don't know if it's both of those houses that caught the camera, but like at least these two that are across from each other are his aunt's house and his cousin's house. And like, it looks like he came from that backyard. So, I mean, how many people parked there that day? That's where they all parked. Like Phil Lyman and his crew, that's where they all parked and walked down the street. So everyone was like parking over there in that area and walking down. So I don't know if this kid has anything to do with anything. He was just arriving late. He probably just went to class. Like, it's probably just some random kid going to class. Like, I don't know. But then if the clothes that he dumped in the cemetery were these clothes, I mean, that's definitely going to make me think more guilty. Like, I don't think someone else gave them their clothes to get rid of. But in a cemetery just makes it seem like, is that really where you would do it? And why was he even still staying in the town? Because this is like 6 hours later. And this would be around the time when he dumped the clothes in the cemetery. Why would you be lingering around town if you did that? Dumping clothes, driving around the campus? No. So he's either like in on it, he's a decoy, or he's like the dumbest guy, I don't know, because he did so much to get away with it that it's like, why would you be lingering? And that jump off the roof, it's really freaking high. I saw a video. Let's see if I can find it. Just so you guys can see how high this is. This is not something that a normal, everyday, average person can do. BTK did get sloppy. But the thing is, another reason why I don't think it's him is because they would have his cell phone data. I feel like that would have been part of the problem cause. That often is part of the problem cause, is like, we see him on camera looking at his phone. We had his phone like turn off at this time, something like that, or get a text at this time. We have him go up this many steps. Like, we don't have any of that. So I don't think that I think that he was always in the car, maybe, as the decoy driving around, because we see him at like 12:44 in like a parking lot. So it does seem like his job was to distract them, maybe, to drive around. But yeah, so like this guy with the bum leg.
Yeah, that's really high.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably stub my landing too.
I would break my ankle. Definitely my knee. Uh-huh. My fucking wife would yell at me. She'd be like, what were you thinking?
That's newfound respect, I guess, for whoever that was on the roof.
So in the main video, okay, in the main video.
Not for the shooting, but like, can you imagine jumping off that shit?
Yeah. Was it right here?
Yes.
This is it.
Are you serious?
This is the
Yes,
video.
you didn't know?
This is where the spot is in the video.
I was at home. I don't go here.
That's the corner right there.
Really? Wait, so
Yes.
where was the thing?
He was right here on this
way
roof.
over there.
Well, on the other side of the corner.
So like, you can see it from the opposite corner of this building, but like,
He jumped off.
there's no
Yep.
like proof that they've
Like, he
shown
jumped
that
in
the
right
guy
here.
who jumped off the roof.
Yeah,
like, if I was watching from the roof and someone got shot, I'd fucking run too. But like, they haven't proven that this guy and the guy that shot, they haven't like shown any evidence that connects them.
That is crazy.
Do you think I know it's so high. This is what the world don't understand in media. They think it's like really small, and nobody really understands the height of this. Look at this.
Do you know how tall he was?
No, he was a small guy too, a little twig.
I feel like that was right here. He probably just like dropped down.
Well, allegedly he had his pew pew with him. You know, the tall one.
I don't know. It is a lot higher than what I thought from watching the other video. And I know that he does hang off. He does hang his legs off and jump, but it's still very, very high. If you have a bunk leg, you aren't jumping. I'm not jumping off that, and I have perfectly good legs. All right, can you please send a video of you jumping off and not hurting your leg? That is a height where people injure themselves. It's definitely not 6 feet if you're dangling. It's 14 feet in total. It's about 10 foot, maybe. He didn't dangle like his arms down. He like just shoved his legs off and then dropped. So, I mean, that only like saved him like 4 feet. But the thing is, if you have never done that before, why would you choose this exit? This was a trained, the ROTC is right there. Like, I mean, there was definitely some prep to whoever did that, because someone's not just going to risk doing that at the spur of the moment. The 5-foot girl was halfway. Okay, can you just film yourself jumping off that building and we can see if you break your leg? It's high. It is high for you not to be prepared. When's the last time you jumped off something? I mean, when I was a kid, I jumped off things, but and people did see him in the parking lot. That's the thing. Like, people did see him, and he walked right by people. Like, when you look at that video of him jumping off the roof, he's just walking right by people, and no one's reacting. No one's acting like he's dressed weird. No one's acting like he has a weapon or he has a mask on. I mean, I just, everything about this is suspicious. But I think the main thing is that weapon that they found does not tie to the bullet. I mean, the thing is, to get off that roof, you can just walk down the stairs. Like, he ran across the roof, more like in a panic. So maybe he was there, or whoever it was there to take the shot, but someone else took the shot before them, and they weren't prepared. I mean, I don't know. But he doesn't seem to be, I mean, that wouldn't have been the way I would have chosen. I would have made sure I could jump off that roof before risking that, you know? I just don't think someone's just going to choose to run off the roof, because there are stairs right behind the roof. You don't need to jump down. Like, he could have just went down the stairs. I don't even know if that roof video is real, because the shadow disappears and there's no one running. Like, if you look at the courtyard when everyone is fleeing the courtyard, it's like 3,000 people, but nobody's running on the roof footage. Like, everyone is just calmly walking and disappearing into the background. That's, bruh, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if there really was someone on the roof, to be honest, at that time. But I just don't see why they give us like this weird footage where it's all chopped up and such low quality when they have cameras everywhere. I think filmed either before or after. I don't know. I mean, I think that they try to make a story fit, and that's why they said the screwdriver was on the roof. But then they realized that, oh, wait, you can't actually put anything on with the screwdriver. I wonder if they really did find a screwdriver, but like that disappeared. Like, that's not in any of the charging documents. But I think that maybe to put the scope on it, but like, why wouldn't you just have the scope on it? Like, this, it still would not fit in that backpack or in his pants. So I think this is the wrong guy, or this guy was just putting the scope there, maybe. Or maybe this guy's job was to put the scope on the rifle that was already up on the roof. And then the ninja came out of nowhere and did the shooting. Like, I don't know. Not all the evidence is in the charging documents, but the problem is that the charging documents, typically it lays out, you know, the physical evidence. These charging documents are primarily hearsay, which is outrageous. I've never seen a case like that before. Usually it's your phone data to put you in certain places. They should have said, like, he arrived at this time. We know that he went to this gas station. He went here and here and here. He pinged off this tower. We know he went up the stairs, blah, 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 blah. And then this ties him to the surveillance footage. They didn't even tie the surveillance footage together. They didn't even tie the surveillance footage from someone entering the campus, which is this, to the guy on the roof, let alone corroborating cell phone data. And then everything else is, and then they have like the gun, but for some reason that's like in the wood. I don't even know where they found that, but they don't really say. I think it was just directly across the street, which means like, why do you even put it there? Why not just leave it on the roof if we were just going to leave it right there? They didn't give us any timestamps with their videos, but I mean, they can manipulate that if they wanted to. I have heard conflicting statements from a third party that the parents, he did not confess. Like they're saying that he did not confess now. So in the charging doc, it says that either confess or implied that he did it, which how can it be either or? It's one or the other. So I think they confronted him. I think it was the Uncle Mikey, the cop, saw this picture. He called the parents and was like, where was your kid yesterday? And like they all agree this is him, right? But they're linking him to this guy because the hat is almost the same because it has that triangle, I think. And so they confronted him with this picture. We know you did it. We have your photograph. And he never admitted it. And the parents allegedly do not think, I mean, they agree that this is his picture, but they don't think that this is him. And so, and maybe it's his gun. Like, I guess, allegedly that's his gun. So it would be interesting to see. And, you know, Phil Lineman, in his interview, he says he thinks that the gun was always in the bushes and never was on the roof, which I think that makes sense too, because even in that video, I do see something that could be a gun when he's jumping off the roof, but it's not that big gun like we saw. It's something smaller, if it is a gun. No, the mother, that's what it says in the charging document, but that's allegedly that's not what she's telling people, is that they didn't recognize him. But this photo was going around locally with police. And so that's why the guy, Uncle Mikey, had this photo. And that allegedly that's what led them there. And he was scared. Like once they confronted him, they were like, oh, we know you were down there. We know that you were here. So, but that's the thing, like that whole charging document is reliant on hearsay and text messages that, in my opinion, are clearly fake. Like I do not find those real. Like that, it's just such a made up thing. It's like very obviously made up, the way that they're like, oh, well, I have to get the rifle because it's wrapped in a towel. Oh, and I changed my clothes. And then he's calling the kid love. And I mean, maybe some of those texts were real, but someone got a hold of their phone and changed that shit. Yes, if it's hearsay, they wanted an arrest warrant. So this is how it works. Like in order to hold him, they needed enough evidence to charge him, right? And that's why they used the hearsay. They weren't thinking about a trial. They were trying to get a confession. I don't think they have evidence to convict him. So, I mean, they did what they did to get a quick arrest. And this is, you see this sometimes. I mean, this is a high profile case. They didn't want it out, maybe because maybe it has to do with his church. Who knows? And they don't want that blamed. They don't want No, they don't want it to go to trial. That's why they were trying to get him to confess for like 10 hours. They're still going to try to get him to confess. They're not thinking about this going to trial. Were they thinking about Oswald going to trial? Well, yeah, they were, and that's why he ended up dead. So that's the scary part, is that yes, they are probably worried about this going to trial now. Yes, but the evidence will still be released after a confession. Matt, do you not know how our country works? Have you not? The JFK files came out this year. Like, that was 62 years ago. No, it's not just going to come out. Yeah, Utah and Idaho is different, but they're not going to release this. The JFK files were sealed for years. It was a cover-up. Like, they covered up the JFK thing. Like, that's what they do. They don't want any groups being attacked. I mean, they don't want... They try to make Oswald out to be opposite of what he was, too. Like, they were trying to make him out to be anti-Castro, I think, or... No, pro-Castro. I don't even know the whole politics of the whole Castro thing, or where people stood on that at all. But I just know that he was handing out anti or pro-Castro flyers, but like he really was anti-Castro. He was doing a lot of weird stuff. Oh geez, we have a live one. The JFK files released recently had nothing new in it. Wasn't a cover-up at all, if you research the case at all. The stuff that we now know based on the files this year is that he was involved with the CIA, that he did visit, or he had contact with the Soviet and Cuban embassies. And we know that he was on a watch list. We also know that they took him off a watch list the day before the parade went by his building that he worked at. So, I mean, they did release, I mean, the new stuff did show that there was CIA involvement with him. He was known. And I mean, it's not smoking gun of who knew what or what, but the Warren Commission was the first commission that went to investigate JFK. They actually covered it up. They had no intention of investigating. The intention was to make it a lone gunman. That was their entire prerogative. And, that was 10 years before someone challenged that. And it's 62 years later, and we're just getting information now. So that's what they do. I mean, I think that if this kid was involved in, like, I don't even know what group it would be. Like, if he was involved with, like, transferees, armed transferees or something, absolutely they would come forward and say it. I mean, they would love it. But the fact that everything is hush-hush, he has to be associated with some group, I think. I mean, he could be a lone gunman. I just highly doubt it. As a lone gunman, I don't think that he's going to hang around, go to Dairy Queen, keep driving back to the freaking school. Like, that's crazy. Who was the other shooter then? Someone on the grassy knoll. Just like in the Charlie Kirk case. It's not the guy on the roof. It's someone in the grassy knoll. It's always someone in the grassy knoll. And the decoy is where people's attention will go. So great evidence. Well, that is what a cover-up is all about. You never can find the real shooter because it was never investigated properly the first time. And that's what we're dealing with in this case too. So maybe watch some JFK so they can get caught up with the rest of us, because it is a scam. It's a scam. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out next. Had only been dating for 6 months or so and confirmed everything the Fed said. Okay, yeah, complete BS. Yeah, I don't know if they were living together. I think maybe they were dating. I don't know. I just think it's something that they inserted. it just seems like if they were, I feel like they would have arrested both of them. You know, if they really were living together, if I absolutely think they would have arrested both of them. There's no way in hell that one is just going to go take off and be gone for a day without the other person knowing anything. I just don't. It's just it's stupid. The security team. I have seen the security team has come forward. They I don't think they've been interviewed, but they made videos, and I've seen them on TikTok. There was a bunch of people that came forward and made videos. The security team in general, I think, I don't know. They all seem sketchy to me. Newness is definitely a theme. I think it's odd. So the hospital that they took Charlie Kirk to was not the closest hospital. It also was not even I don't even know how you level 1 trauma center. It was like a level 2 maybe. I could be saying it backwards. But so they brought him there. It was like a new guy that ran the hospital. Like there's a lot of sketchy things. Do furries even date, or is there some ritual where they dance like bees? I don't think they date. I think they just dress up like animals and go run in the woods and hump each other. I don't know, actually. I don't even think the kid is really a furry. I was looking at that kid, Lance. I don't think he's trans either. So I mean, they might be dating. I don't know. I actually have no idea. There's just so many lies intermixed. Like allegedly, Tyler Robinson's father didn't know he was gay until this, because Tyler had been telling him that he was dating a girl. So imagine if the girl goes to UVU and that's where he was with his girlfriend. Imagine. I don't know. I don't think they would take it this far. Like they're going to have so much egg on their face. It's like they definitely want to Oswald this kid. Right. No one in the group even tried to pressure that would stop the bleeding. But there wasn't that much blood. And I guess it's because he died quickly. But none of those guys had blood on their hands. And I would think that, and they were wearing khakis and stuff. There was no blood on any of them. What were they even doing when they all got him on the ground? They just laid him on the ground and rolled him over. It's so weird. I don't know what to make of it. It does seem I don't know, they were prepared for it. But even if you're prepared for it, I feel like seeing someone die like that, that's shocking. But none of those guys seemed too nervous, too upset. Yeah, I know Candace. Well, I think she's speaking with extended family. So whiteness protection. They're both in whiteness protection. Yes, they are. No, but here's the thing with Utah. Everyone's kind of related, and not like that, but there's lots of big families and lots of cousins, and everyone's a distant cousin. So who knows who is reaching out to Candace? I feel like whoever from Lance's family that's reaching out to her is a bad person, because they told her that Lance was evil and all these things. And it's if your family member was ever in this situation, your brother's son or something, you're going to reach out to the media and say, oh, that kid's always been evil. He hates us because we're Republicans. That is vile behavior. And so that's why I'm I don't know. Are they just trying to make them a couple because they found Lance in the Discord chat and he turned out to be whatever, trans or gay or whatever? I don't know. I mean, they really could be a couple. Those text messages are just so fake to me. Primarily because he's not even reacting to Tyler saying oh yeah, I'm the one that did it. The boyfriend's not even reacting. It's bizarre. But I don't know. I think that Kash Patel needs to come out and tell us something soon. It's been a while. So are they going to try to investigate this or not? That's the question. He said that he was investigating everything. My strongest inclination is that it had something to do with the donations, but it was not directly from those donors. It was internally with TPUSA and people in general knowing what the game plan was, and Charlie wasn't going with the game plan. If you look at Project 2025, they are doing that plan, and Charlie not supporting Israel is kind of a departure from that plan. So it might just be that might be the answer. And then merchandising is death. Can Patel release anything considering it's not a federal case? I mean, they would have their own stuff, but yeah, it would be damaging to the state case potentially if he released something different. But he can. They can. The feds interfere with state cases all the time. I feel like he must have found something at this point, unless he's not looking at all. Like that's like the biggest thing. It's like so frustrating to me because it's like, just investigate, just tell us what the hell you found. Like, we know that the story that we're being told is not true. So just tell us something. It's just so weird. Like, they're just so happy to merchandise his death and to like make merch and that whole like memorial. It was just grotesque. Like how people were, the stuff that everyone was talking about, like it just didn't align with anyone being sad. It made me feel like nobody really cared about Charlie Kirk that was close to him. And they all just saw this as an opportunity. And I'm like, I would hate to be surrounded with people like that. Like, how awful is that? They can still talk to the public. I'm a true crimer. Like, they can say stuff. They've already been leaking stuff. Like the locals were releasing stuff about Tyler going back to the building. No, this is not a normal case. Locals are not the same. Well, the locals would be like the local law enforcement that actually had the encounter with him. Bo Mason, I think it was Bo Mason that released that information. He's like, I think he's the state. He definitely didn't disassemble the rifle. I think that was one of their first theories. And I think that's the problem, is like I don't know, did these guys investigate stuff before? Because I don't think that they're coming to like logical conclusions. Or they got so tied up in looking at one path that they didn't look at anything else because of this decoy. And now they don't want to admit they were wrong, so they're just going to go with it. Like, I don't know. But like, normally the stuff that, like, even the preliminary hearing is basically like a mini trial. Like, you can have witnesses, you can have the evidence, depending on his defense might waive it if she knows there's going to be enough evidence. But I haven't seen one in a while. Like, OJ had one. That's been a while. But like, some cases will have the preliminary hearings, and they're good because it gives you, well, at least have the evidence. Like, it would be nice. We don't have to wait a year for a trial. We'd have, some answers. I don't think he was leaving that side necessarily, but there was just certain things that he didn't want to agree to push in his debates. Like, they gave him, I think, every time before he did these tours, and it's not just them, it's like everybody. They give him a list of, these are the topics, these are what the positions that you want to take. And you know, he didn't take the position of, he was asking for Epstein files, which is not the popular position either. I mean, that's definitely something that's definitely a way that people could join together to get him out, right? Because the donors are the billionaires that could be in those files too. I mean, there's definitely like those are the two things that I think that he was straying from the pack on that could have been what happened. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's talked about this on on the Charlie Kirk show many times. I don't know what talking points specifically, but he talks about this. But I don't know. We'll see what else comes out. I don't know. It's Thursday. I think Candace Owens is on a vacay. I do not believe the texts were verified. I don't believe them at all. Like, I mean, I think maybe some of them. It's not conjecture. It's so the text that just, if you read through this, like pretend like your husband was out and he's like, honey, look at my note. And it's like, oh, I took out Charlie Kirk, and you look at the news and Charlie Kirk is killed. Are you just going to be like, you weren't the one who did it, right? I mean, just that sentence alone, you weren't the one who did it, right? That means that the roommate kind of knows that he'd be involved with people that would do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not an innocent statement. And then I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, which is George Zinn, which he would be running off the roof and hiding and fleeing at the time. So I don't know how he knows about George Zinn, right? And then they interrogated someone in similar clothing. How would he know about that? The cops knew about that. He wouldn't know about it unless he was sitting there with the cops all the time. Oh, not Tyler's, Charlie's. Okay. But so then the roommate's just like, why? Why did I do it? Right there. If he really did have a problem with Charlie Kirk, he'd be ranting and raving about Charlie Kirk all the time. The roommate wouldn't have to ask, like, why did you do it? And Robinson wouldn't have to tell him. I'd had enough of his hatred. The roommate would already know. Because is it a roommate or a boyfriend? Right? Either way. If it was just a roommate, maybe he didn't know. But if it was a boyfriend, he knows. But then he's like, he doesn't even finish that thought. And then he's like, if I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. No evidence except for the rifle that you used to kill him. The videos of the old guy was in the public, but what time of day do we think this was? Do we think that Tyler's like fleeing, changing his clothes, dumping clothes and then watching TV? And like he knows about both of the suspects. Like I don't even think we knew about the other one until a press conference. And then he asked him, how long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. And then he's just giving all these freaking details about my old man will be so mad if I lose grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number. Like that just to me makes it sound like that rifle was untraceable and they put this text in to tie him to the goddamn rifle. And he's saying, I left it wrapped in a towel. Why would you be giving all this information? Like he keeps talking about it. It's like they had to explain all the evidence that they found. And that's what they did with these texts. And then he says, remember how I was engraving bullets? The effing messages are mostly a big meme. I mean, if this was his boyfriend, his roommate, he would not have to give all this detail. The way that they're giving this detail, it's like you're writing a movie script, because in a movie script, you have to add context to conversations so the audience knows what you're talking about. But in text, he would just say, "Oh, I engraved it with the meme, with the Bulges meme," and the boyfriend would know exactly what he's talking about. He doesn't need to like go on to explain. Like, it's so obviously fabricated. I don't know if it was the feds or if it was the local people that fabricated this, but I don't believe it at all. Like, at all. If he thought he was going to get away with it, why would he get away with it if he left his rifle there with all his fingerprints all over it? And this is just not how people text. Like, he's writing this whole goddamn paragraph. The boyfriend doesn't even care. The boyfriend's not even asking any questions. He's just going to tell him all these details about the freaking rifle. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like frustrating that anyone even wants to believe this, because it's just such a joke. And then there's a part where he's like, allegedly, when he was like suicidal, or that's what people were saying, he's like, my dad's been really MAGA ever since Trump got reelected. Like, what? The boyfriend wouldn't even need to know that. Like, the boyfriend would already know. Like, he'd already been complaining about his MAGA father. He wouldn't be doing it right before he's going to go turn himself in and never see the light of day again. That's going to be the text he sends. Like, it's like they had to explain everything. They had to explain the motive. They had to explain all the evidence. And now we know that rifle wasn't even used. So now what? And now they're stuck with these messages. His DNA on a rifle that doesn't match the injury. And I don't even think they have his cell phone on the campus. I think he was always in the car. So I don't know how what they're gonna do. But I think that kid is in danger. Like, they want to Oswald him, and that might be why they haven't brought it. We haven't even seen a perp walk from this kid. It is really weird. Yeah, I mean, the digital footprint. This is what we got, and so then I feel like it's bullshit, because phone data is like it's almost always in the charging document, because at least the not detail stuff, but like the general stuff, it's like, we put him here, he shut off his phone at this time, he pinged to this tower, we know that he was in Orem starting at whatever time. None of that was in there. It's all surveillance, and it's based on nothing. It's based on absolutely nothing. I mean, the thing is, they're just showing a random kid in a red shirt with a backpack on. And I saw a video today where someone was filming that house, and there was a kid with the red shirt with a backpack walking up the street. And I'm like, oh my God, it's just a very busy street where kids walk to that school, because the parking lot's right there. We do have the way he messages, though. Let me see if I have it here. Zealous monkey. So Zealous Monkey was his Discord name. Someone did a see if I can pull it up here. This was like his evidence that it's not this one. So this was like evidence that he was politically motivated, and there's like, they had to go all the way back to 2020. And look, this is how he writes. There's no capitalization, there's no punctuation. So he writes just like a normal Gen Z person. He does put commas at least, but he's not even saying it. So who is winning the election? You would know. Biden is in the lead, electoral votes wise, but there are still some swing states that haven't finished voting, as well as most of the West Coast. Raw votes, Donald is in the lead by a little over 1 million votes. Who is going to win? I'm not sure. When will we know? Not until pretty late, but we could have a pretty good idea by the end of the night, unless it's really close or something. So, I mean, that just reads like normal. It's whoever he's talking to is blacked out. I mean, he is giving a lot of detail, but there's no punctuation. Like, this is what I expect in a text from people, right? Like, they just answer. So it's going to be hard for them to say that if this is him. I mean, I think this is him. Someone did like a deep dive into the Discord chat, and this was like all that they could find that showed anything political, and it's not even political. It's like he doesn't even give a shit. Like, he's paying attention, but he doesn't really care. But again, he's not talking to his partner here. Well, so when he talks to his partner, he has to use full sentences and periods? Like, is that the argument? A partner would be even more familiarity. There's no familiarity in these texts. Like, he's over explaining, like it's very like fake. Like, he would not have to explain all this stuff. Like, the roommate would already know. Yes, he probably talks differently, but this still is, it's a script. Like, this is a script. Like, I used to write scripts. Like, I went to film school for a little while, and this is a script. You have to, like, when you write dialogue for a script, you have to like explain so that the audience understands the context. That's what's happening here. This is not a real text exchange. I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. But I don't know. So just get your martyr t-shirt ready, because I don't know, like, the next person that dies in your family, you're going to make sweatshirts about them being a martyr. That their rule has just begun. Like, it's just so messed up. It's so bizarre. Nothing about this makes any sense. It's just such a grift. Like, that she raised like $4 million like within the first couple days when they're millionaires. And you know what's really weird? They sold their house like in February for like 5 or 7 million or something. Where were they living? Like, they sold their house. So were they splitting up and we don't know about it behind the scenes? It seemed like they didn't sleep in the same bed. She was on a podcast and said that she saw him like leave, like he slept in another bedroom or something. So nothing about it seems normal. No, we're not victim shaming a woman who just lost her husband in an assassination. We're shaming a woman that sold merch at her husband's memorial and made a sweatshirt to make money and asked for donations immediately and plugged her business that she just became CEO of immediately. Big difference. But I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on here. But until next time, we'll see what comes out. She's allowed to do whatever she wants. She can capitalize on her husband's death until the day she dies. I think that is kind of shameful. I'm not shaming her, but I think it is shameful. I don't think I would ever do that. I don't think I would ever make a martyr sweatshirt off of one of my family members that died. I don't think I would have fireworks at their memorial. I don't think that I would be dancing on stage and laughing. You know, none of those things. But that's just me. I'm a Catholic. I'm not an evangelical. So maybe that's the difference. But I don't know. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.